All right, good morning, everyone. Welcome to your Tuesday morning, 8:15 Vinyasa Flow. I'm Tommy, be guiding you through your practice. I think I know most of you. I think this is about our last week before, I think next week is scheduled for hot yoga out here. So let's enjoy the weather while we still have it. This morning, we're gonna incorporate the blocks into our practice. And I like to use blocks not only just, I was talking to Sherry about it, not only as a prop for support, but also can create a nice focal point during our practice. So using it to engage certain specific parts of the body. So it's not just about leaning on the prop, but also using the prop to just kind of give you a little bit of a different perspective and incorporate it kind of throughout our flow. So we're gonna be using the two blocks. I'll be cueing a lot of different things and just try to find the shape that works best for you, different levels of the blocks, obviously flat here, side, you know, whatever you need to do to bring the ground up towards you and use that prop in the most accessible way. All right, so we're gonna begin here. I'm gonna give you two options here. You can begin just in Hero's Pose, which Sherry's already demonstrating for us. If that's a little too much on the knees with bending deep like that, just sit up on the block and you can come into Sukhasana. So you can just have the legs cross this way. So whatever feels good. If you want to, I like Hero's Pose to kind of start stretching out the tops of the feet. So just sit up on one block and just have the other block out in front of you. We're going to use that here in a minute. As always, we'll just kind of become comfortable and begin to make that connection with the breath. So just get yourself anchored down through the tail. Just take a moment here, close the eyes, lengthen out through the tops of the thighs if you're in Hero's Pose, and roll those shoulders up, back, and down. And just open up through the chest a little bit. Take a deep breath in through the nose. Just let the heart begin to lift a little. And inhale that breath deep into the belly. Lengthen out through the spine. And then gently exhale to a count of 4 or 5 and just let those shoulders begin to slide away from the ears a little bit further and anchor down through that tail. Deep breath in through the nose. Lift up through the crown. Deep exhale, soften the shoulders. Just continue here with the rhythm of your breath, just observing, making that transition from being the busy doer in life to just the conscious observer. Just notice the path of the breath. Notice if it gets stuck in some places, not trying to force anything here, just beginning to feel out a little bit more space through each cycle of breath. Deep inhale to a count of 4 or 5, lengthening through the spine, lifting through the crown. Gentle exhale. Count of 4 or 5. Just feeling a little bit more grounded in the seat. And just continue here for a few more cycles of breath. With each breath, just let that rhythm just be a cleansing of any physical tension you might be holding. Just soften through the brow. Soften through the jaw and throat. Let that breath just swirl around the heart space. Soften. And then also let that cleansing be an emotional cleansing. Just letting go of any thoughts you might be attached to, something you have to do today, didn't do. Just bringing some clarity to the mind, just tuning into the present moment. And then lastly, just making a commitment here to be fully immersed in our practice, in the moment for the next hour. Everything else can just wait. Go ahead and exhale all the air out, squeeze those lower ribs down. Let's just take A deep, full, collective, communal breath. Deep inhale. And deep exhale. All right. Softly blink the eyes open. All right. We'll go ahead and just take the block out in front of the hands here. So take the block and just, instead of like gripping it, holding onto it, just place the palms alongside. You're gonna kind of start to use that as you squeeze gently into the block. It'll just start to fire up the low belly here. Squeeze those low ribs down and in, so you're kind of clamshelling those ribs down. Just using that as a focal point. Roll the creases of the elbows up towards the sky. So you're rolling the elbows inward. And we say this a lot when we're in downward dog. We say roll the triceps in towards the ears. So this is a nice point of focus. Belly's engaged, lifting up through the crown, and then just rolling those creases of the elbows up towards the sky. Kind of zipping all that energy into the center line of the body. Deep inhale up through the crown. Exhale, engage the belly a little bit more. And then let's just gently take that up over the head. And then just drop your shoulders down in the shoulder girdle a little bit. You're gonna kind of have them up, squeeze around the ears. So just relax them down into the shoulder girdle just a little bit here. Deep breath in. Deep breath out. Gentle back bend, just look up, open the throat. Deep breath in. On the exhale, we're gonna bring the block towards the back of the head and just open up the elbows. Press the back of the head into the block slightly. Just bring the chin slightly up. Open up through the clavicles. Deep breath in. And then on the exhale, just bring the chin to the chest and don't tug down on the block too much, but just a gentle weight on the back of the head, stretching out through the back of the neck. Let's bring the block back to center. Squeeze and rotate those elbows inward. Inhale, bring you back up. Just move with the breath. Gentle back bend. Exhale, cactus those arms. Open up through the shoulders. The back of the head can tilt back. Exhale, chin to chest. Just a gentle weight on the back of the neck. One more time. Forward. Inhale it up. Cactus the arms, open the chest. Maybe the elbows can come a little wider. Squeeze those shoulder blades together. Exhale, chin comes down. All right, inhale up. We're gonna go ahead and take the block over to the side. Place the palm down, and then a nice full side body stretch. You can bend that elbow to create a little bit more space. Anchor down through that right hip. Maybe look up under that right arm, open up through the chest. You can bend that elbow, deepen that stretch a little more. Inhale brings you back up. Go ahead and take that block, place it behind you. Inhale the arms up. On the exhale, we're gonna twist. Take that right hand across the thigh and then roll that left shoulder back. Place it on the block back behind you. Nice tall spine. So push that heel of the hand down as you lift up through the crown. Gaze goes last. Inhale to lengthen. Exhale, twist a little deeper. Stay for one more breath. Gently unwind, bring your block around with you. We'll take that over to the second side. Inhale up. Big breath in. Exhale, slide it on down. And up and over with that left arm, bending through the right elbow. And then take that elbow back a little, open up through the chest. Find a little more space. Deep breath into the side body, open up the ribs. One more big breath in. And we'll go ahead and release, slide the block back behind you. Inhale those fingertips up. Exhale, twist from the base of the spine. Roll that back shoulder back. Find some length in the spine, up through the crown. Exhale, twist a little. Deep inhale up. Exhale, twist. That wasn't a good cue. All right, inhale, we're gonna go ahead and release. All right, so let's go ahead and place one block all the way at the back of your mat. Just place the other one off to the side. Let's come into tabletop pose here. Just tap the tops of the feet here, kind of wake up the feet. And get those shoulders lined up over those wrists, hips lined up over the, hips over the knees, that's what I was trying to go for. And just work through some cat-cow here, drop the belly down, lift that tail up, open up through the chest, big sip of air. On the exhale, push through the tops of the feet, push the floor away, spread those shoulders, gaze comes down and in. Squeeze all the air out. Inhale, move with the breath. Lift the tail, open the chest. Exhale, gaze comes down and in. And just move with your breath. Add on any other organic movements that feel good. Get those hips swaying side to side. Do some barrel rolls with the chest. Look over one shoulder, look back towards the feet, then the other. All right, let's go ahead and walk the fingertips forward. Tuck the toes under. Lift the knees up and just hover for a second. Feel the belly engage. And go ahead and lift those hips all the way back up. Spread the fingers nice and wide. Walk the feet back towards the block, and then go ahead and just place one heel and then the other right on the edge of the block. So toes are spread, heels are anchored down on that block. Roll those inside elbow creases up towards the sky, just like we were doing before. And it's kind of a little bit of a different feeling having that block underneath those heels. You can kind of drop your head a little bit more, draw the gaze in towards the belly, sink down through the heel. Deep breath in, deep breath out. Go ahead and anchor down through the right heel. Maybe you want to move it towards the center of the block a little bit more, and then we'll take the left leg up and back with that supported block. You might want to walk your fingertips back in a little bit, adjust as you need to. We're going to go ahead and bend the knee and then stack and open up through that hip. So just let that heel be heavy. Let that open up the hip crease. Breathe into that hip. Maybe you want to circle out the leg, circle out through the knee. Wake that hip crease up. Go both directions. And then go ahead and square the hips back off. Inhale that leg back up. Exhale, softly bring it back down. Switch sides. Inhale, right leg up and back. Stack and open the hips. Rotate those hips up. Let that heel be heavy. And then circle out through that knee or maybe the full leg, whatever feels good. Both directions. Just a little bit of a different feeling with the support of that block under the heel. All right, square the hips back off, right leg back up, and gently go ahead and place it down. Step off of the block. We'll go ahead and walk our fingertips back towards the feet. Grab the block behind you, go ahead and bring it around to the front. And then go ahead and grab your other block and stack it on top. So here's where you can play around with the different levels. We're gonna come into a halfway lift, Ardha Uttanasana, so pushing those thighs back. Kind of nice having the heels of the hand down on that block, so you can be here up on a little bit of a higher setting, and just flattening out that back. Draw the crown of the head forward, thighs go back, deep breath in, deep breath out. Nice flat spine. Hold it for another breath. Inhale. On the exhale, you can bend the knees, just fold yourself forward. So options here, you can grab for opposite elbows. So here's, you can play around with those blocks as well. Maybe they're supporting the crown of the head. Maybe you want to have forearms down on the block. Just playing around and finding out what works for the shape of your body. Another deep breath in. Lengthen out the back a little bit more. Just releasing anything you're holding on to. Check in with the face. Are you holding any tension in the jaw? Soften and let it go. All right, let's halfway lift one more time. Ardha Uttanasana. Deep breath in. Deep breath out. All right, let's go ahead and place the right hand on the block. So play around with those levels. Again, you can be here, you can be here, you can have one block. So right hand down. We're gonna straighten the opposite leg. So bend in the right knee, straighten out through the left leg. And then we're gonna inhale and open that arm up to the sky. And you're gonna feel a nice stretch all the way up through that left leg, through that IT band, into that hip. So you can bend and straighten that leg. You can kind of feel it relax and then activate. And then the more you twist that arm back, you're gonna feel that kind of roll up through that hip. Maybe circle out the wrist on the left. Stay for another breath. Exhale, let's go ahead and let that go. Bend both knees, shake it out a little bit. And we'll take that over to the other side. So left palm down. Left knee bent, straighten out that right leg. Inhale that right arm up to the sky. Stretching out through that IT band, outer hip. Deep breath in. Deep breath out. All right, let's go ahead and release. You're gonna bend both knees, grab a hold of one block. Inhale, you're gonna begin to roll up through the spine. Got the block between the two palms. When you get halfway, roll the shoulders up and back. Go ahead and lift that block up towards the sky. Roll those elbow creases in. Spread the toes nice and wide. Fire up, lift up through the kneecaps, engage that low belly. Look up, push the hips slightly forward, just take a gentle back bend. Deep breath in. On the exhale, we're gonna bring that block back behind the head, just continuing to kind of open it through the chest and the heart. Let those elbows open up. Big sip of air in. Exhale, let it go. Inhale, back up. We'll go ahead and lean on over to the left side. So take a moment here and kind of bend the elbows and then extend that block all the way out to the side. You're gonna root down through that right hip. Big breath into the right side of the ribs. Maybe shift the weight over into that left foot now. Kind of tiptoe out to the right. Play around with a little balance here. fall out of it, all good. Inhale brings you back up. Exhale on over, other side. Get a nice little arm workout too. This block doesn't weigh much, but start feeling those triceps, back of the arm start to fire up. All right, deep bend on over. Play around with that balance, kind of tiptoe out to the side, maybe float the leg. Inhale back up. On the exhale, we're gonna go ahead and fold all the way down. We're gonna step the right leg back. We're gonna drop down into a low lunge. So go ahead and bring both blocks alongside the hips here. Play around with that different placement. Maybe you want to be back a little bit more in the hips, maybe a little bit more forward. Lengthen out through that back thigh. So kind of inch that back foot back, create a little bit more space in that thigh. You drop down through that tail, lift up through the crown. Big breath in through the chest. Press down into that front big toe, the top of that back foot. Let's go ahead and bring that block back out in front of us. Roll those elbow creases up and in. Inhale brings you back up, gentle back. Deep breath in. We'll go ahead and exhale. Open up a little bit more. On the exhale, gently bring the block down. Place it on the inside of that front foot. Place the palm down on it, and we'll go ahead and open up, take a gentle twist. You can be low in your twist. If you want a little bit more, you can tuck the back toes. Maybe bring that back knee up. That block making the earth come up towards you just a little bit more, making everything a little bit more accessible. Stay for one more breath on that twist. On the exhale, we'll go ahead and bring it back down. Bring the block back up. This time, go ahead and place the block lengthwise in between the palms. So kind of a prayer position. Press the heels of the palms together. Inhale, lift up through that crown. On the exhale, we're gonna twist on over and just press those palms together. And taking a high twist here. We're gonna go ahead and extend that arm out. The elbow is gonna come over the knee. So block comes long, and then press that block and use that leverage to come into a little bit of a deeper twist. So again, just a little different point of focus than we normally might be doing in a twist. And just having that block in between those palms can really kind of open up the shoulders a little bit more. Look back over that shoulder, open that chest a little bit more. One more breath. Exhale, let's go ahead and let that go. Place the block down. Place the palms down. Lift up through that back knee. Step all the way back into a plank pose. So in plank, push that floor away so there's no space in between those shoulder blades. There's a slight rounding in the back. Belly button's pulled up and in. And then let's go ahead and just take it all the way down, knees, chest, and chin. Keep those elbows squeezed in. When you get halfway down, we'll just come into a gentle back bend here. So cobra. Slide those palms a little bit further under the shoulders. Press down into the tops of the feet. Feel that low back kind of start to fire up. Squeeze the elbows down and back alongside the ribs. Open through the chest. Exhale, palms come down. Make your way up to downward dog, push back into a plank, go through tabletop. take a quick child's pose, whatever you need at this moment. And we'll meet in downward dog. Take a moment, pedal out the dog. Deep breath in. Open mouth, exhale, let everything go. Big sip of air in. Exhale, step, hopper, float yourself forward. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold down. We'll take that to the second side. So left leg comes all the way back. Whoop. Left leg's my other left leg. And we'll take that low lunge series, second side. Get yourself organized. Lengthen through that back thigh. Open through the chest. Sink into that lunge a little deeper. We'll go ahead and bring that block back in front of us. Fire up that belly. Inhale up. Exhale. Open up, gentle back bend. Stay for one more breath. On the exhale, we'll go ahead and lower that block down alongside the foot. And we'll take that twist. Inhale that left arm up or right arm up. Options here. Maybe you want to come into a high lunge twist. Check in with that right front knee. It likes to start to splay out to the side. So just rotate it in a little bit more. Squeeze it in alongside the ribs. One more breath here. If you're lifted, you can go ahead and drop back down. Let's unwind that twist. Palms back to heart center. Inhale up through the crown. Exhale, slide back, high twist. So again, check in with that front knee. It's going to kind of want to start sliding open. Just squeeze that hip towards the center. And then extend that block out in front of you. Drop that elbow to the inside of the knee and then press into that block and use that leverage to open up through the chest. You look back over that shoulder. On the inhale, you can soften and untwist a little bit. On the exhale, twist back a little bit deeper. All right, one more breath here. Gently let it go. Place that block down. Palms come down to the earth. Lift up through that back knee. Step it all the way back to plank. This time, lower down, knees, chest, chin, or if you want to take a full chaturanga, lean out over the wrists. Keep those elbows squeezed in, and back bend of choice. Up dog, cobra, sphinx. Maybe you want to take a child's pose. Push it all the way back to down dog. Deep breath in through the nose, lift up through the hips. Exhale out the mouth, lower the heels. Deep breath in. On the exhale, step, hop, or float yourself forward. Inhale, thighs come back, crown comes forward, halfway lift. Exhale, fold forward, bend the knees. Inhale, slide palms up through the legs. Draw that energy all the way up. Lift up, look up. And then slide the palms down to heart center. Close the eyes here. Just let that energy, that prana, cascade down through the body. Just let your heartbeat settle into the chest. Just notice how you feel. All right, softly blink the eyes open. Let's just shake it all out. All right, everybody doing good? Sip of water if you need it. Okay, so we're gonna get into a little bit of a balance series now. So go ahead and place one block down in front of you. We're gonna step up on that with the right leg. Take the other block out in front of you. Let's go prayer position again. And if you fall out of this, just get back into it. What you're just gonna do is you're gonna start swinging that leg. And a lot of runners do this when you're getting ready. It really opens up the psoas. So just let the ankle be super heavy. Press the heels of the palms into that block. And just let that leg kind of dangle and that heel be heavy. And you get a nice release here through the psoas, through the front of that hip. If you fall out of it, just go ahead and let it go. All right, let that kind of dangle there. Let's come into a gentle balance here. So just bring up through the knee and towards the chest. Press the heels of the palm into that block. Maybe you want to play around with bringing that block up overhead. Squeeze that block so you bring all that energy into the center of the body. Maybe you extend that heel out in front of you. Maybe that's not happening. Just play around a little bit. Lower it down, come up off the block. All right, shake them both out. One leg might feel a little longer than the other. All right, let's continue on with that series. Inhale that knee back up and in. Exhale, squeeze the block, draw that heel all the way back. We're gonna come into a crescent lunge. Say again?
It's too windy.
I hope we're saying that next week. All right, roll those shoulders up and back. Bend through that back knee. And press out through that heel. So nice firm back leg. Draw that kneecap up and in. Let's go ahead and place the block lengthwise like this, like we did before. Reach it out in front of us. Inhale, palms come up. Gentle back bend. Woo. It is a little windy. I'm falling out of it. Big inhale here. Exhale, a little deeper back bend by drawing that block to the back of the head, open through that chest. Stay for one more breath. On the exhale, we're going to go ahead and slide into warrior two. Keep the block in that back hand. Roll shoulders open. Heel to arch alignment with the feet. Front of the chest is open, so we're not sinking down and in. Bend into that front leg a little deeper. Go ahead and flip the back palm up. We're going to use that just to slide. Oops. Change it to the front hand. Sorry, guys, I'm a little backward here. We're going to use that leverage to reverse our warrior. Slide that back arm down the back leg, and then use the weight of that front palm to open up through the front of, or side of the chest. Bend a little deeper into that front knee. Deep breath in. On the exhale, bring that block back towards the front. We're gonna go ahead and slide it all the way down to the inside of that front leg. Let's take it into extended side angle. If you need a little extra height, you can have both blocks on that inside of that leg. If you're typically on the elbow on that front knee and extended side angle, kind of nice to explore having that earth come up towards you. And then take that front arm up and over the ear. Deep breath in. Nice line of energy through that back edge of the foot all the way up to the fingertips. Feeling the support of those blocks in the front side of the body. Still belly engaged, so you're not just sinking all the way in. Inhale, bring yourself back up to warrior two. Take the block with you. Straighten out through that front leg and dip that hip. Reach forward, and then slide that block all the way down, coming into triangle pose. You can also play around with the placement of that block. It can be on the inside. You can also bring it behind the foot. Helps to kind of open up through that chest a little bit more. Stay for another 2 rounds of breath, just feeling that support of the block, support of the earth. Notice how the pose might feel a little different than you normally do with that prop helping you out. All right, deep inhale here. Exhale, we'll go ahead and bend that front knee, let it all go. Pop that back heel up, step yourself forward. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold in. Go ahead and grab the block and put it right in between the thighs, coming into a chair pose. You gotta kind of play around with that placement a little bit. So squeezing that block with the knees, drop yourself into a chair. Thighs are probably shaking there. Just a little different focal point in this chair pose. Roll those elbow creases up, fingertips come in towards each other. Stay for another breath. Exhale, fold forward, let the block fall out. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold in. Inhale, move with the breath. Slide all the way up through the spine. Palms out to the sides. And draw those palms back to heart center. All right, shake it all out. Let's do that same sequence, second side. Come back to our balance. Kind of lost track of my cueing, so just do the opposite of what you did before. All right, come up onto that block. What are we doing? Heart center, let's do that. All right, so shift the weight into that standing leg, bend the knee slightly so you're not hyperextending. And then just gently let the weight of that heel, that leg, just be heavy. Just let it start to open up that psoas, the hip. So that leg starts to feel a little bit longer. I always like to do this after a long hike. It really starts to just let everything kind of relax. All right, let's bring that knee up and in towards the chest. Press into the heels of the palms. Play with that balance a little bit. Maybe those arms come up overhead. Press into that block. Squeeze that belly down and in along those ribs. Maybe the leg comes out. Maybe you fall out of it. All right, let that all go. Step on off the block. Bring that off to the side. We'll take that sequence through the second side. Inhale that knee up. Big breath in. Lift up through the crown. Exhale, begin to transition. Push back through that heel. Place that foot down. Coming into crescent lunge, second side. Bend through that back knee. Push out through that heel. Draw that kneecap up and in. We'll go ahead and bring that block out in front of us one more time. Gentle back bend here. Press into that front big toe for your anchor. And then go ahead and draw the block towards the back of the head. Deepen that back bend a little more. Big breath in. Big breath out. We'll transition into that warrior two. This time, block comes towards the front. Heel to arch alignment. Get yourself set up. Roll the shoulders open. Exhale, sink down a little further. And then we'll go ahead and flip that block up and then slide that back arm down. Use the weight of that block to open up through those side ribs. Big breath in. On the exhale, we'll slide all the way into that extended side angle. So play around with that placement of block. Maybe you have two blocks. Back arm up in front of the face and then over the top of the ear. Also kind of nice to have that back of the forearm or top of the forearm right on the inside of that knee, because you can kind of press that knee into that forearm. Just gives you a nice firm foundation in the front of the body there. Just stay for another breath here. Big breath into the side ribs. Opening through the chest. All right, use that core strength, bring you back up, take the block with you. Back to warrior two. Straighten out through that front leg. Reach forward and dip that hip. And then slide all the way into that triangle pose. Option with that block to be on the inside of the foot. Can be back on the outside. Gives you a little bit more opening. All right, one more breath here. Exhale, let it all go. Go ahead and bend into that front knee. Bring that back heel up, step yourself forward. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold in. Go ahead and slide the block back into the thighs. Drop back into that chair pose. Down through the tail, lift up through the chest. Squeeze those knees in, you're probably shaking. One more breath. Exhale, let it all go. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, all the way down. Go ahead and plant the hands down, bend the knees, step all the way back to a plank. Let's all take a nice child's pose here. So have your blocks out in front of you in child's pose. I'll give you a couple different cues here to play around with. Super duper day. All right, so options here. You can bring the blocks out in front of you where your palms normally would be. Just a nice way to kind of play around with opening up and giving a little bit more space for the heart to kind of sink down and in. So get a nice stretch through the chest here. Push those hips back towards the heels. And then drop the crown of the head down and in. Do a little side body stretch so you can have one hand slide it over on top of the other on the other block. Play around with that. Kind of sink down and breathe into the side of the body. Do both sides if you're playing with that. You're breathing into the ribs on the side where the top hand is. Stay for one more breath. We'll go ahead and let that go. Go ahead and slide the blocks in a little bit more. Come back down to the elbows on the blocks and then sink down with the head. Nice tricep stretch here. The palms come up towards prayer position. And so I know I'm throwing a lot at you guys today, but maybe there's like one or two things we did today that you go, oh, you know what? I'm bringing that with me into my practice. And if someone's putting you into a child's pose or another one of these poses, you have your blocks, you have the option to just do what you feel. Deep breath into the back of the body. Exhale, sink down through the heart. Let's do one more breath here. Exhale, we're gonna let all that go. All right, walk the fingertips back in. Bring the blocks over to the sides here. Walk the fingertips back up, and we're gonna come back into down dog. We're gonna start winding down here. We're gonna be coming into a pigeon series. If you know pigeon is a problematic pose in your practice, on your hips or your knees, you can also come onto your back, and we'll do reverse pigeon on the back. So bring yourself into downward dog. We're gonna take that left leg up and back. On the exhale, we're gonna draw it to the left elbow, push the floor away to create some space, and then go ahead and lay that leg across the mat as perpendicular as you can get. A little less intense is if you slide that heel in towards that hip. And then take a moment. We're not gonna sink down right away. Take a moment here to lengthen through the back of that thigh so you're not directly on that knee. So slide that back, knee, and foot back as much as possible. Option here, you can have a blanket under that back hip. Some people say you can put a block there. I find it a little much, but that's just kind of my body type. And then bring the blocks out in front of you. And just take a moment here, kind of roll the shoulders up, lift up through that crown. So you get a nice opening through the chest. So kind of just a gentle back bend. If you're feeling any pinching in that back, back off immediately. Deep breath in through the chest. And then on the exhale, begin to lower down. Maybe you come down just to the elbows. If you want to come all the way down and remove the blocks completely, walk the fingertips forward, let the elbows come out, and take the crown of the head all the way down. So a lot of different options, different levels, different intensities. A deep breath into that left hip. Exhale, just let everything melt, soften, the bones be heavy. And, if you want, you can go on your back this way, cross over, and you're getting that same hip opener that you're getting in pigeon, just in a more safe way. Just cross the ankle over the knee and then squeeze that knee, and you're still getting that nice hip stretch without some of that intensity there. All right, if you're low in your pigeon, take your time. Walk the fingertips back in towards the chest. Place the palms down. You're gonna tuck the back toes. And then lift up through that knee so you can create some space to get that leg out. So a lot of times people have a hard time getting out of pigeon. You want to press that floor away so you create some space. Slide back into that down dog. Maybe take that left leg back up and stack and open that hip. Just let that blood kind of get flowing back into that hip. That synovial fluid into that joint. Place that down. We'll take that pigeon over to the second side. Right leg comes up and back. On the exhale, we'll draw that knee to the outside of the elbow, push the floor away to create some space, and then go ahead and slide that leg across. Using that blanket, slide that right under that hip. Take a moment with the blocks, play around. Inhale, open up through the chest. Gentle back bend here, lengthen out through that back thigh, so scooch that back foot back. And then on the exhale, maybe drop down to forearms, elbows. Maybe you just want to be here. If you want, you can sink all the way down. Lower the crown of the head. You can also have a block underneath the crown of the head to kind of support. Deep breath into that right hip. Exhale, soften. Stay for another 2 rounds of breath here. All right. Go ahead and walk fingertips back in. And again, make it easier for yourself to get out. So we're going to go ahead and tuck that back toe. Lift up through that knee and push the floor away to create some space to get that leg out. And then go ahead and slide that leg back. Push into a down dog. Maybe you take that hip back and up, open up, some circles. Whatever feels good there to get the blood working back into that hip. Back to downward facing dog. Inhale here. Exhale, we're just gonna walk the feet forward towards the hands. No tricks, just come all the way down to a seat. All right. All right. Keep kind of using the blocks a little bit here. If you have a blanket, you want to sit up on that to give a little lift in that pelvis. Work through some forward folds. Let's go ahead and take the legs out nice and long. Give the legs a little bit of shake. Shimmy those hips side to side. So we want to be in front of those sit bones so we're not sitting back here because we're not folding anywhere. So kind of work yourself towards the front of the body. And then go ahead and take your block here. We're going to inhale and lift up, flex those feet, draw out through the heels, thighs are down. Then exhale, reach out with that block, the crown of the head, and then that block can come wherever it lands. So if you can get it over the feet, fine. If that's not happening, you can have it at the shins. And you can play around here. You can kind of place the blocks here. Maybe the crown of the head comes down. You can play with different levels of that. All different types of engagement for the body, supporting it, stretching it, lengthening. Deep breath into the back. Exhale, let it all go. All right, go ahead and remove the block. Go ahead and slide both heels in. Slide those heels in towards the pelvis. And then you can play around here, bring your blocks to the outsides of those thighs. Really nice support here in Baddha Konasana. So if your hips are super tight, you hate this pose because they're talking to you and pinching when you're normally doing this, really nice to have those on the outsides of the thighs. So inhale, roll the shoulders back and up. You can grab for ankles or grab for big toes with peace fingers. Lift up through the crown. On that exhale, begin to hinge forward, maybe walk the fingertips out. Maybe you just want to stay upright, whatever feels good. Another option, the hips are more open, you can have that down. Let the weight of the crown of the head sink forward. Deep breath into the pelvis. Exhale, let it all go. One more breath here. All right, go ahead and walk the fingertips back in. Extend the legs back out in front of you. Let's just take one more sort of active pose. Can't let you get off that easy. Let's take a boat pose here. So go ahead and bend the knees. Bring that block back as we had it before out in front of you. Roll those elbow creases up and in. Toes can come down. And then maybe just play around. Maybe one leg's coming up. Maybe both. Press into that block. Fire up the belly. Push out through those heels. Lift up through the chest. Maybe one toe comes down. Play around a little bit with that action. Big inhale here. Maybe slide the block over to the side. Oh, squeeze it out. Inhale back to center. Other side. Back to center. Exhale, let all that go. All right, let's come all the way down to the back. And just begin to wind everything down here. Just take a moment, have your block off to the side. We're gonna use it maybe one or two more times. Just squeeze the knees into the chest. Squeeze the tailbone down as you draw the knees up towards the ribs. Just a gentle rock side to side on that low back. Maybe circle out through the knees. Feel that in the hips. All right, let's go ahead and place the feet down. Knees are bent. Bring the heels in towards the glutes. We'll come into a supported bridge pose here. So options again with that block in terms of levels of where you want that to be. So go ahead and press into the ground with the heels. Go ahead and lift up through the hips. Squeeze the knees together. And then slide that block right underneath the sacrum. So options can be that low setting on the side. If you're super open in the back, maybe you come up to a little higher setting. Whatever feels good, you just feel that support. Feels really good on that low back. Knees are drawn in towards each other. If you want a little bit more, you can open up, take the arms up overhead, open up the chest. Maybe one leg comes up to the sky, press out through that heel. Belly's fired up. Both legs, if you're working through kind of that one-legged stance. At any time, if you want to slide that block out, come back down. Please do so. Up on the highest setting, go ahead and lower down to the lower setting and then walk the heels all the way out. If you're feeling any pinching in the low back, get out of that. Place the palms down and then flex and point the toes. Really nice release here in the low back. Deep breath in, open through the front of the hips. Feet are together. Stay for another breath. Exhale, let it go. Bring the heels back in towards the glutes. Lift up through the hips and go ahead and slide that block out to the side. All right, counter pose. Go ahead and draw the knees back in towards the chest. Give yourself a nice squeeze here. Maybe you bring the nose up and towards the knees. All right. Go ahead and take a moment. Take your blocks and put them out pretty wide, like off to the side of your mat. We're going to come into some twists here. This will be our kind of final wind down. And if you've never done this with a twist, having those blocks out alongside you, it's a really nice support. So you might have to adjust it as we go. So blocks are off the mat, knees back into the chest. Let's go ahead and keep the right knee in, extend the left leg long, so press out through that heel. We'll go ahead and take the left hand across the knee, right arm comes out to a T, and then draw that leg across the body. You can stay in the twist here, or you can lengthen out through that right leg and go ahead and place it on the block. So you get a nice stretch through that low back. If that's too intense, you can bring it back in. You can also just have that block underneath the knee if that stretch is a little too intense. Really important to have the shoulders flat against the mat. So sometimes the knee won't come all the way down. So it's nice to have that block here just for a little added support. Deep breath in. On the exhale, you can twist your gaze to the opposite side, so over to the right, deepen that twist a little more. Stay for another round of breath here. Deep breath in through the crown. Exhale, twist a little deeper. This is where I usually get like a little free chiropractic adjustment. All right, gaze comes back up first. Go ahead and gently bend the knees, unwind. Bring the hips back to center, knees back up into the chest. Just a gentle rock side to side. Get your center point back on track here. Get yourself organized. And we'll take that same twist to the other direction. So extend out through the right leg, left knee up into the chest. Grab that knee with the right hand and left arm comes out to a T. Big breath in. On the exhale, draw that knee across the body. Keep those shoulders down, and then options with that leg. You can have the block right underneath that knee where it's bent. You can extend out through that left heel, place that on a block. Both palms are down. The palms can be faced up, but shoulders are down. And take a deep breath in. On the exhale, maybe you add the gaze, twisting over to the left. Deep breath in through the crown. Exhale, twist just a little deeper. Stay for one more breath here. On the exhale, the legs straight, go ahead and bend it back in. Unwind yourself. Let's take a happy baby. Bring the heels up to the sky and then grab for outer edges of the feet. Squeeze that tailbone down towards the earth. Draw the knees down towards the armpits. Open up through the hips, gentle rock side to side. right, let's go ahead and release here. Set ourselves up for Shavasana. You can take traditional Shavasana with the legs straight. If you want, you can also come into Supta Baddha Konasana, bring your heels together, have those blocks on the outsides of those thighs. A really nice hip opener support. Supta Baddha Konasana is really hard on a lot of people and not very relaxing in Shavasana, but if you have the support of those blocks, it can be just a nice cleansing opening of the hips and pelvis there. So get yourself set up, whatever feels good. And nothing left to do here, but just enjoy the benefits of our practice. Just take a few more cleansing breaths here. Just begin to soften everything. Let the bones be heavy. And just do a quick body scan. Are you holding any tension in the face? Soften the brow. Soften through the jaw and the throat. Just take a few final moments here, remaining present, remaining on the mat, just remaining in your space of surrender and solitude before you go back out into the world, into your busy day. Just notice the subtle qualities of this moment, the support of the earth underneath your body, the gentle breeze or temperature on your skin, the sounds around you, maybe just the sound of your breath. Just be here for a few final moments. Allow me to call you back when it's time. All right, let's begin to gently deepen the breath and welcome sensation back into the body with any micro movements, wiggling fingers and toes, raise the eyebrows, open the mouth, open the jaw, stick out the tongue, whatever, no one's paying attention. If you're on the back still, maybe slide the palms back up over the head. Slide the ankles together, take a nice full body stretch. Deep breath into the heart space. On that exhale, draw the knees back and towards the chest. Just squeeze out any last bits of energy, stale energy, breath you're holding in. Release. Then go ahead and roll off to one side. And take your time making yourself up to a comfortable seat, keeping the eyes closed or the gaze soft. Just ending our practice in this final easy seat. Just feeling the body align, the head over the heart and heart over the hips. Grounding, the earth holding us up. The reaching and rise up through our crown, and the breath uniting these two opposing forces. Take the arms out to the sides. We'll inhale, fingertips up to touch. Lift up and just open the throat here. Big sip of air in. And on that exhale, just slide those fingertips down into the heart. Place the thumbs against the sternum. Lift up through the heart space. Just take a moment here to thank yourself. Taking some time for yourself, some self-practice, self-exploration, some self-care and love. I hope you enjoyed just exploring some different variations, maybe taking this with you into your practice. Just taking this feeling of solitude, of calm, of consciousness out off the mat into your day. Thank you for allowing me to guide you. From my heart to yours, namaste. And just opening your eyes and acknowledge your fellow yogis, this wonderful yoga community. Everyone have a wonderful day. Thank you as always, guys. Just a last announcement. I am teaching in the studio on Tuesday nights now. Honestly, it's going to be pretty much a rehash of what I'm doing in the morning because I put a lot into each practice, and that's all I can kind of come up with right now. But if you miss this, if it's too hot, I'll be in the studio 5:15 over at DAP Health. All right? Nope. I don't think so. I don't think so, but that's a very good question, and I'm going to find out today. But I don't think there is any reserving that needs to be done. Yeah. But that is a good question. Let me find out. Marnie, good to see you.